just like last week, we have another blow coming through. It's just the Ides of March and there's a lot of wind storms. So we're gonna try to steal a few miles today before we tuck into our protected anchorage for the weekend. And just like any cruising day, there's a lot of options and a lot of different plans in case the weather doesn't live up to what's predicted. So we are gonna basically make our first decision right after we leave John Pennekamp State Park. And then our second decision will be a little bit later. And hopefully the sea state isn't too crazy today because we do have to leave Oceanside. And the wind unfortunately is blowing out of the ocean side. Shouldn't be any worse than it was yesterday. Disaster from today. Got dirt everywhere. The kitchen's a disaster. Although yesterday was not that fun. So we'll see and we'll play it by ear.
We're Jen, Elliot, and Ollie. In 2019, we booked a one-way flight to Colombia, and after traveling to 11 countries, we were locked down in India for 5 months. Coming back to the US, we decided to pivot into boat life and cruise on a 6,000-mile journey called America's Great Loop. Make sure to subscribe as we share the highs, lows, and everything in between.
Now that we've gotten through Lago Sound Inlet a second time, it definitely wasn't as bad as the first. Just like anything, it was kind of like tricky going in, but now that we had the track, we knew the depths, and we knew pivot was fine with it. It was a lot better the second time.
We are back out Oceanside, and it is a bit choppy today. And we had hoped that with the very little wind that we had last night, that it would kind of calm the sea state down. But it has. There's like white caps out, and yeah, it's not the most calm. It is what it is.
Well, for our first pivot today, going to the Reef, which is what we wanted to do, coming out of John Pennekamp State Park, did not pan out. The seas are just a little bit too swelly. There's white caps. It's just not a good day for pivot out here. So we're gonna proceed with our plan B and C, which is unfortunately staying Oceanside for a bit because we can't quite cut over. But we're gonna see how the ride goes. Now the second part where our plans are looking like they're gonna change. So originally I was gonna stay outside for the entire cruise just because it was just easier and simpler just to go up the coast and then tuck into No Name Harbor. But with the swell, I think we're gonna cut inside. So we're here at Angelfish Creek. I think we're gonna cut in there, either that or the inlet right after that. And hopefully get into some a little bit calmer cruising. decided to come through Broad Creek Inlet because this is the one that we had come through going north, so we knew we could do it. Although the sign coming in said that it was only controlled to less than 4 feet. It definitely is a little shallow at the entrance on the ocean side. So keep that in mind if you draw a little bit more than us. We draw 3.5. That was the worst part. Now it's just stay in the channel. But it's nice doing that in the Keys because you can literally see what's aground, you know, like brown run aground is the saying, and there's brown everywhere outside the channel. But in the channel it's nice and blue, and we're about 10 feet right now, so no problem.
Now that we are inside, or like Gulf side, aka not on the ocean side, it has calmed down significantly because the wind is coming from the south. So we are on the leeward side now, and it's a lot more of an enjoyable cruise. This morning I was not enjoying it at all. I don't like rocky and rolly, and that's a lot what it was. And I'm very happy now to be on the Gulf side given the wind conditions today. But today has not really been my favorite cruise. It's just, I didn't eat breakfast this morning because I knew we were going to Oceanside, and the day before I felt really nauseous. But it's just, yeah, and I'm still not feeling good to eat lunch. It's just not the most fun day. And that's just honest boat life.
Coming inside was definitely the right move in retrospect. Jen has been taking the wheel for a bit, and I've been able to kind of get to work and edit some of our videos in the salon. It's kind of hard to do that when we have all the ocean swell because everything's just rocking and rolling, and it's just not a good time to be working inside the cabin. It's kind of just making sure you don't get seasick, keeping an eye on the boat, because there's a little bit you can do to make it not rock as much, but you have to be really attentive. Like that, we're rocking a lot as soon as I take the wheel. Oh my goodness.
We are passing Stiltsville, which is owned by the National Park Service and is part of Biscayne Bay National Park. Now, Stiltsville is, I think it used to be like several of these houses that are on stilts, and now I believe that there are 7 remaining. Several of them have been destroyed by hurricanes, while others have been destroyed by fires and stuff like that. But the ones that remain, you can go out and snorkel around them, although you're prohibited from climbing on top of them. I think you need a special permit. You can go and snorkel around there, and there's a lot of natural seagrass, a lot of beautiful natural environments around there in which marine life kind of hides and tucks itself in. We went and snorkeled in Stiltsville for Elliot's birthday as we made our way south.
Just past Stiltsville is our final destination for today, No Name Harbor. And we are kind of crossing our fingers coming into the anchorage because it's very small, so there's only a certain amount of boats that can get in there. It's kind of tight, just like Boot Key, but with a little bit better protection. Our backup plan is just anchoring outside, which is not going to be the best because the wind is going to be shifting where that's going to be on the windward side for part of the blow over the next couple days. So we're kind of crossing our fingers, hoping for the best, and really just kind of to be very slow coming into the harbor because there's always a lot of traffic and a lot of boats and a lot of people just having fun. And we're only a few miles outside of Miami, so this is like a hot spot for the weekend for boats coming, and you can moor onto the wall, just not overnight. So a lot of people come out here and just party and stuff like that.
When we were here coming south, on our southbound trip, we came into No Name Harbor and spent like a week here because it is such a wonderfully protected anchorage. It has protection on basically 365 degrees of protection, and it has an easy dog access to take Ollie out, so it meets our qualifications for like a good anchorage. That mixed with the fact that like it had good holding, we were sold. When we were here in January though, we counted like around 20 boats inside anchored, and right now I just counted and it looks like there's 11 masts. So obviously that doesn't count like motorboats because they wouldn't have a mast and they wouldn't like peek out above the trees for me to be able to see that. And then Elliot counted 16 boats on the outside, and whenever we were here earlier in the year, we counted like 30 something boats. And I think a lot of that had to do with people trying to cross over to the Bahamas because this is such a great place to make that jump over the Gulf Stream. It may look like this is a very tight anchorage, and it is, but there's always room for one more boat. There'll probably be one more boat that comes after us too. And another one, and another one. It's totally up to the like boater's perspective and what they're comfortable with. You either have like we have two options, like here and in Key Harbor. You're anchored really close to boats, but you're in a protected space, option one. Or option two is that you can either be outside, let out a ton of scope, a ton of chain, but you don't have the protection. So we choose the protection, even though the risk is boats running into us running into boats. So you have to be very mindful of that, and very alert and cautious. But to each their own.
Now, even though we backed down our anchor and I'm sure it's set, we're in the Florida Keys. It's warm, the water's clear. Let's dive on it and see how it really set. Feels great.
It's got a friend. Guy in that boat just went for a swim too.
It's pretty deep, and it's pretty hard to see.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Ollie, are you watching after Dad? He's kind of like a kid in a candy store with his flippers on.
Oh. Well, I have no clue if the GoPro captured that at all, but it was fun. No, nowhere near as clear as I was thinking it was going to be. And Jennifer said, I was like, do you want to jump with me? And Jen's like, it's not clear, no way. It's clear. I was wrong.
I don't swim in murky water period. So yeah, that's a no-go for me. Alright, so since we have such a long dinghy ride to shore, I thought we would film the entire dinghy ride. No cuts, raw, unedited footage right here, folks. You didn't ask for anything better than this. Boom, boom.
Bye, Pivot. Bye, Pivot.
Be good for us, please. We love you. Ahoy!
Look at that.
Is that a dinghy dock? Wow.
Wow. Full send.
She remembers how much she likes this park too.
That's the spot, yeah. What is that, 360 feet? Now, No Name Harbor is in Bill Bragg State Park. There is a fee to dinghy up to the wall. There's also a fee to anchor in the harbor like we are. I believe the fee to anchor in the harbor is $20. However, last time we were here, we were speaking with the volunteer. He said the annual state parks Florida Pass works here, so we purchased it for that. I probably wouldn't live here on the state park pass, but coming for a night or two I think is fun. But your mileage may vary. Disclaimer, I may be completely wrong on that. That's just what we were told. It also used to be a lot more cruiser friendly from what we've heard and talked to other people. There used to be laundry facilities, water, restrooms. There's still restrooms here, but none of the other stuff. And so don't come here expecting to fill up your water tanks, but there is trash. There's beautiful walking trails, a beautiful beach that we'll see later, and a lot of protection. It's very dog friendly. Today was a great day. Lots of pivots, lots of changing up the plans, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah, a little rough on the ocean side, but it got so much better when we went back to the Florida Gulf.
We have a lot of bad weather again, starting in the next couple days, where it's like basically averaging around 20 knots and then gusting into the low 30s.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have an interesting video coming out tomorrow, and then we're gonna take our day off and just rest, recuperate, maybe play some board games or something.
Yeah, hang out, no cameras.
Yeah.
Relaxing. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. And we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching. Well, the vlog's done.
Oh yeah.
You getting any more work?
And then Elliot counted, how many boats did you count?
16.